And finally, I saw this piece in today's New York Post, a new poll from a non-profit think tank showing only 1 in 2 New Yorkers plans to stay in the city over the next 5 years. We've already seen an exodus from New York to places like Florida and Texas, and it seems many are still angry over quality of life issues, and that hasn't improved post-pandemic. Only 1 in 3 New Yorkers are happy in the Big Apple. You're a New Yorker. Are you planning your escape as we speak?
I'm not. I mean, I still love New York. I think it's one of the great cities in the world. But it really is something. It's something you and I have talked about before, Rita. But it really is astonishing to anyone who comes from outside the ways in which principally Democrat-run cities have been run into the ground. I've just finished some
Mm.
work on the fentanyl crisis in America, and you look at the drugs crisis in these Democrat cities, the sanctuary cities, the New Yorks and the Philadelphias and so on, and you see scenes there which genuinely shock people around the world. I was actually speaking to somebody in South Africa the other day who said that she had recently been to New York and was just appalled by what she saw. Because, for all of the challenges in South Africa, you don't see just zonked out, drug addicts just lying across the pavements everywhere. You don't see that. Goodness knows the country has its own problems, but it's a question that really the governor and the mayor of New York and others have to ask themselves, which is how did New Yorkers get it? How did it get to the stage where New Yorkers were expected to put up with some of the scenes that we're now expected to put up with? How did this become normal? Somebody said this to me in Philadelphia recently, watching somebody overdose in the streets. Just how on earth did this happen? This has got to stop, and it doesn't stop. It gets worse.
It does, and I think I played a clip earlier this week from New York of rats being roasted on the street. People were, I think, consuming rats. That's where we've got to there. Before I let you go, you are in Australia. I still think we could encourage you to perhaps consider living in Sydney, maybe Melbourne. What can people expect when they come to see you speak?
I'm very happily in Perth at the moment, which is a wonderful place to be. And yes, I'm looking forward to being in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and yes, I'm doing each night a different theatre with the great Josh Zepps, and we're roaming very far and wide. We covered a lot of ground yesterday with a wonderful capacity audience here in Perth. Who I stayed around and talked with afterwards, and yes, I'm apart from anything else, I'm very very keen to know what's on top of Australian minds at the moment, because I know there's a lot going on here in Australia that's just like what's going on in the rest of the world, and you've got a couple of your own
Yes.
special little problems as well, it seems.
We do. I think you might be alarmed by how bad things are here right now, and there's a bit of apathy about it as well. Douglas Murray, thank you so much for your time this evening.
It's a great pleasure as always, Rita. See you soon.